It always starts at the same time. Not 3 in the morning, the so-called witching hour. That would be too cliched. No, this is more precise, more deliberate. It starts at 2:59 a.m. every single night. The first time it happened, I woke up to a sound I couldn't place. A slow, rhythmic knock. It was soft, almost gentle, like someone was testing the waters, trying to see if I was awake without being too obvious. My first thought was the front door, which would be strange but at least logical. I live alone, the house is always locked, but maybe someone was lost, or it was an emergency. I sat up in bed, my ears straining in the darkness, and that's when I realized the sound wasn't coming from outside. It was coming from inside my own home. It was a phantom echo, seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once, bouncing off the walls of the hallway. The moment I shifted my weight on the bed, the moment my feet touched the cold floor, it stopped. Complete silence. It was as if whatever was making the noise only wanted to do it while I was pretending to be asleep. I fumbled for my phone on the nightstand. The screen lit up my face. 2:59 a.m. No notifications, no missed calls, no alarms. Nothing to explain why I was suddenly wide awake, my heart hammering against my ribs. I told myself all the things you tell yourself in these situations. It's just the pipes. The house is old. The wood settles. It's the wind. But I knew better. Pipes don't knock in a distinct pattern. 3 slow, evenly spaced taps, a brief pause, and then one final definitive knock. It felt like punctuation, the end of a sentence written just for me, in a language I didn't understand. Got out of bed and crept into the hallway, every creak of the floorboards sounding like a gunshot in the dead silence. As my eyes adjusted to the gloom, I tried to pinpoint the source. And then the knocking started again, louder this time, closer. There was no mistaking it now. It was coming from the door at the end of the hall, the one I never use. The one the previous owner had sealed shut years ago. It leads to a small, narrow storage space, or so the realtor told me. I'd never tried to open it. Something about that door always felt off. It seemed to watch me. The paint was thick and layered, swollen and cracked around the edges. As if it was holding something back, something that had tried to get out. Standing there, a few feet away, my breath caught in my throat. The knocking stopped again, this time for good. The silence that followed was heavy, suffocating. I could hear the blood rushing in my ears. My gaze dropped to the floor, and that's when I saw it. A fine layer of dust coated the floorboards along the bottom of the door, and it was completely undisturbed. Not a single scuff mark, not a footprint, nothing had touched this door from my side. The sound had come from behind it, from the other side, from a sealed-off space that shouldn't have enough room for anything to stand, let alone knock. Just as I was about to dismiss it as a trick of my tired mind, another sound started. A slow, dry scraping, moving from one side of the door to the other. It sounded like a fingernail being dragged across old, splintered wood. It was methodical, patient, and in that moment, a half-forgotten conversation came rushing back. My friendly, chatty neighbor, when I first moved in. He'd mentioned the previous owner, a reclusive old man. He said the man sealed that space because he claimed the house had a listening door. A door that doesn't open to let things out, but to let them hear you in. My blood ran cold. The knocking wasn't a request to be let in or out. It was a test. It was checking to see if I was awake, to see if I was listening. The worst part wasn't the fear that gripped me. It was the sudden, chilling understanding. I took a step back, and as if it sensed my retreat, the house fell completely quiet again. It was a satisfied silence, a silence that confirmed it had gotten the answer it was looking for. I didn't sleep for the rest of that night. When the sun finally came up, I forced myself to go about my day, trying to rationalize it, to forget. But you can't forget something like that. The house had changed, or maybe I had. The knocking didn't happen the next night, or the night after that. I started to think, to hope, that it was a one-time thing, a vivid nightmare. But I still checked the dust under the door every morning, and on the third morning, my stomach dropped. There was a faint smudge in the dust, right in the middle, as if something had nudged the door from the other side. Just a tiny disturbance, almost invisible. But I knew something was moving when I wasn't watching. And so the pattern began. Every few nights, at exactly 2:59 a.m., the 3 slow taps, the pause, the final punctuation. No, every single morning, the dust would be slightly disturbed. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Objects in the hallway started to feel different. A book on the shelf angled just a tiny bit more to the left. A picture frame on the wall tilted imperceptibly. It was gaslighting me, making me question my own sanity. Then came the breathing. I'd be lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, and I'd hear it. A slow, deep exhale that seemed to come from the walls themselves, too. It was the sound of something large, patient, and aware. The house was breathing. It was watching. It was confirming I was alone. Except I wasn't. I was never alone. One night, I decided I couldn't take it anymore. I brewed a pot of strong coffee and sat in the hallway chair, my eyes fixed on the sealed door, waiting. I was going to face it. At 2:59 a.m., right on schedule, the knocking began. 3 taps, pause. 1 final knock, beat. This time, I didn't move. I just stared. The scraping sound followed, but this time it felt different. It was more complex. It wasn't just a line. It was tracing shapes, almost like letters, like it was trying to write something on the other side of the door. It was trying to communicate. It knows I'm here. It knows I'm listening. I don't know what it wants. I don't know why it's trapped behind that door, or why that specific time is so important. But I understand why it stays inside. As long as it's in there, in the heart of my house, it knows exactly where I am at all times. It has the home field advantage. The knocking, the scraping, the breathing. It's all just a reminder. A way of telling me that I am the one who is trapped. I've never tried to open the door. I never will. Some things are better left sealed. Every morning, the first thing I do is check the dust. Every morning, I see the evidence that it has moved. It's patient, it's alive, and it's waiting. It's waiting for the day I stop listening, or maybe the day I try to listen a little too closely. Sometimes, in the quietest moments just before dawn, I swear I can hear it. Right on the other side of the wood, its presence a cold weight in the air. Waiting, always waiting. To see if I'm awake, and to see if I'm still listening.